senior, and I'm from the British Community Church. My short sermon title is Diving In. Verses I'll be using, Matthew chapter 9, 23 to 26, 2 Corinthians 5:17, Isaiah 64:8, and Romans 12:2. Something about me is that I love to swim competitively, but one thing I really didn't love about swimming was just getting into that cold water. But my coaches would always yell out, "Get in the water!" If I didn't get in the water, my coaches probably would have given me some sort of punishment. But once getting into that cold water really wasn't the best feeling ever. It got my blood flowing, helped create endurance for myself, and helped me do better during my races. It's difficult to make that initial jump into the water, but it's so worth it. Creating a relationship with God is so important because not many people in my generation even know Jesus. People say to me, "Well, why God?" While some people know Christ, many people my age don't even think that they need Jesus. Some choose other alternatives. Some just don't even realize that they even need Jesus. But it's so difficult to make that initial jump into the water, but it's also so difficult to make that initial jump into faith, but it's so worth it. Let me show you why it's worth jumping into the water. Matthew verse 9, 23 to 26 says, "When Jesus arrived at the official's home, he heard the noisy crowd and heard the funeral music. 'Get out,' he told them. 'The girl isn't dead, she's only asleep.' Jesus took the girl by the hand and stood up. The report of this miracle swept through the entire countryside. Jesus raised the girl from the dead and healed her. Jesus can change circumstances and lives, even with teenagers. It's worth jumping into the water because my first point, he can change us. Sometimes people my age don't even try to create a relationship with God. Some might say to me, "I don't feel like it. I don't care. I'll just do it later." While some people even laugh at me, just like they did with Jesus. However, Jesus is always looking for that one person who desires life change. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "This means that anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone and a new life has begun." When you accept Christ, he takes your old life away, including all of your mistakes, and you become a new person with him. It's worth jumping into the water because my second point, he can form us. Sometimes your parents might suggest something to you, or even when my parents suggest stuff to me too, and they give me advice and they say to me, "I wish you would, do this differently next time." But, sometimes I say to them, "No, I don't need that right now, I'll just do it later." But my parents are telling me to do it because it'll help me in the long run. Isaiah 64:8 says, "And yet, O Lord, you are our Father. We are the clay and you are the potter. We are formed by your hand." Then I went back on what I was told, and I realized I should have listened instead of arguing, because God is our Father, and he creates us and forms us into a new person each and every day. It's worth jumping to the water because my third point, he always guides us. Sometimes it's hard to go on the obstacle course that God has set up for our lives. Sometimes we just want to go our own plan, not the plan that God has set up for our lives. But it's a learning opportunity that we all need. Romans 12:2 says, "Don't be conformed by the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." God is always trying to guide us into his will because that is where the blessings and the miracles are.
Yeah.
It's worth jumping into the water because he is what we need. According to my research, 22% of teens are committed Christians. 78% aren't. It's clear that our generation is in need of something. It's with social issues, mental health issues, and other problems that we face, it's clear that our generation has not found the answer. I know the answer. The answer is Jesus. He wants to take that step out into the water with him, just like Peter did. He wants us to walk through our problems together instead of going around them. Stop going around them. Just walk through it with him. He desires a relationship with his creation. We need a relationship with our Creator. Why is it worth jumping into the water? Because it's so worth it. Thank you.